You know how every family has that one sibling who somehow always lands on their feet, even when they jump without a parachute? That's my brother Ryan, charming, confident, and utterly allergic to accountability. So when he texted me 3 months ago, "Hey, could I borrow $500 until payday? Just short this week. I'll pay you right back." I didn't hesitate. He'd helped me once in college years ago, and I figured maybe this was my turn to return the favor. I transferred the money within minutes. Family helps family, right? Except payday came and went. Twice. When I finally asked about it, Ryan just grinned through the phone. Yeah, I've got it. Just waiting for a client payment. You'll get it next week. Promise." That next week became a running joke in my head, until it stopped being funny. Then came family dinner. Mom's birthday. Everyone was there. Cousins, aunts, uncles. Ryan strolled in late. Sunglasses on indoors, wearing a crisp shirt and what instantly caught my eye. A brand new silver watch. Not a cheap one either. One of those models that cost at least 4 figures. He sat next to me, catching me staring, and smirked. "Nice, huh? Limited edition. Got it on sale." The entire table laughed when he raised his wrist to show it off, like he was some kind of influencer instead of a guy who still owed his sister $500. I didn't say a word. I just kept smiling. But inside, something shifted. It wasn't even about the money anymore. It was about respect, about how my kindness had turned into his punchline. That night, I couldn't sleep. I opened my banking app and scrolled through our old transactions. There it was, the transfer I'd sent him months ago. My temporary loan. And then, something in me clicked. Ryan had once given me his login credentials to help set up his online banking when he switched phones. I'd even texted him a few times after to remind him to change the password. He never did. So there I was, staring at my phone screen at 2 a.m., realizing I still had access. My hands hovered over the keyboard, heart pounding. I wasn't trying to steal. I just wanted what I was owed. And if he wasn't going to return it the right way, I'd make sure he felt it the right way. The next family dinner was scheduled for the following weekend. Another gathering at Mom's. Ryan, of course, would be there. He'd probably wear that watch again. Maybe even brag about a bonus or some other made-up story. But this time, I'd have my own quiet little moment. A transfer, clean, simple, poetic. I smiled at the thought and set my plan in motion. That Saturday, the table was full again. Laughter, food, and the same familiar rhythm of family chatter. Ryan was in rare form, telling stories about his business ventures while flashing that watch like it was a trophy. When dessert came, I excused myself, pretending to check my messages. I stepped into the kitchen, pulled out my phone, and logged in. Balance available. Plenty. Transfer amount $500 to my account. Description. Payday. I hit confirm. Seconds later, my phone buzzed with a notification. Deposit received. And then right on cue, Ryan's voice from the dining room. "Hey, that's weird. Did anyone else just get a bank alert?" I walked back in, calm as ever, holding my phone. "Something wrong?" I asked. He looked confused, checking his screen, tapping furiously. I think something's wrong with my account." I tilted my head and smiled. Maybe it's payday. The silence that followed? Delicious. Mom looked between us, sensing tension. "Everything okay?" I just smiled again, taking a sip of my drink. "Perfectly fine, Mom." Ryan's face turned red. He didn't say another word for the rest of dinner. But when I got home, my phone buzzed again. A text from him. "Ryan, did you just take money from my account?" "Me. I returned what you borrowed." "Ryan, that's not how it works." "Me. Then maybe next time you'll figure out how it does." He didn't reply after that. But the next day, I saw something that made me laugh out loud. His social media post of that same silver watch, now listed for sale. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel guilty. I just felt paid. The next morning, I woke up to 12 missed calls from Ryan. No texts, no explanations, just missed calls. When I finally picked up, his voice was sharp, defensive, almost panicked. "You can't just take my money, Jess. That's illegal!" I rolled over, yawning, still half asleep. "Ryan, you borrowed it." "I just collected payment. That's not how it works." You hacked me." "No," I said calmly. "You gave me access months ago, remember? When you couldn't figure out your app, I told you to change the password. You didn't. Silence. Then a muttered curse. I could practically hear his pride deflating through the phone. You're insane, he finally hissed. You made me look stupid in front of everyone. That made me laugh. No, Ryan, you did that all by yourself. He hung up. For the next few days, my family's group chat lit up with vague, awkward messages. Mom sent the classic peacekeeper text. I don't know what's going on between you two, but please don't make it awkward for everyone else. Ryan must have been spinning his own version, something about me being crazy and vindictive. But I didn't reply. I didn't have to, because the truth had already started working its quiet magic. That weekend, I ran into my aunt at the grocery store. She leaned over her cart and whispered, So, heard you finally got your money back from Ryan. I raised an eyebrow. Word travels fast, she grinned. Oh, honey, everything travels fast in this family. Good for you. About time someone taught that boy a lesson. I couldn't help but smile. The gossip chain had done what I couldn't, turned Ryan's arrogance into a cautionary tale. But then something unexpected happened. 2 days later, I got a text from Ryan's wife, Lana. We'd never been close. She usually stayed out of family drama. But this time, her message was different. Lana, I'm sorry about what Ryan said. You didn't deserve that. Me, it's fine. Just tired of being treated like a doormat. Lana, I get it. He acts like that with me too sometimes. I wish I could do what you did. That hit harder than I expected. I'd always seen Lana as quiet, reserved, the peacemaker type. But there it was. That same frustration, that same exhaustion I'd felt for years. Ryan didn't just walk over me. He walked over everyone. We ended up talking for almost an hour. By the end of it, we weren't just venting when we were laughing. For the first time in years, I realized maybe I wasn't the only one who saw him for who he really was. But while Lana's empathy was unexpected, Ryan's retaliation was entirely predictable. 3 days later, he showed up at my apartment unannounced. I opened the door to see him standing there, red-faced, holding a printout from his bank. You think you're clever? He snapped, waving the paper. You embarrassed me in front of the whole family. Now everyone's talking. I folded my arms. Maybe if you just paid me back, there wouldn't have been anything to talk about. He stepped closer. You're not family anymore. You hear me? You're done. That line, you're not family anymore, hit me harder than I'd expected, but I didn't show it. Instead, I smiled, slowly, calmly. If standing up for myself means I'm not family, then maybe I never was. Then I closed the door. For the next few days, I didn't hear from him. No calls, no messages, just silence. But silence can be loud. And in our family, it usually meant one thing. A storm was brewing. Sure enough, Mom called one evening, voice trembling between guilt and frustration. Why did you take Ryan's money, sweetheart? You know how he gets. I sighed. Because I was tired of waiting. Tired of being laughed at. Tired of him thinking the rules don't apply to him. She didn't respond right away. Then softly, You're your father's daughter, you know that? He would have done the same thing. I smiled, blinking back tears. Dad had passed away 3 years ago. And hearing that, it meant something. Then I guess he taught me well. Mom chuckled weakly. Maybe too well. The call ended peacefully, but I could tell she understood. Maybe not the method, but the message. And the best part? A week later, Ryan posted on Facebook, Some people only care about money. Remember who your real family is. I almost replied, but I didn't. Because the next comment underneath was from Aunt Ruth. Real family pays their debts. I nearly spit out my coffee. But karma wasn't done with him yet. Because a few days later, I got another message. This time from our cousin, Daniel. Daniel, hey, random question. Ryan asked me for $200. Did he ever pay you back that $500? Me. Eventually. Daniel. Huh. So I should probably say no, huh? Me. You didn't hear it from me. Ryan's well of family favors was finally drying up, and I didn't even need to lift a finger. But there was one more twist I didn't see coming. One that would make Ryan finally face himself in a way he never had before. It started with a phone call from Lana, her voice shaky, her words careful. Jess, can I tell you something about Ryan? Jess, I found out something about the money. I sat up straight, instantly alert. What money? The payday loan he told you about. The one he said he needed to cover bills? Yeah? He didn't use it for bills. There was a long pause, filled only by the sound of her nervous breathing. He bought that watch to impress a client at work, she finally whispered. He told me it was a business expense, said it would pay off in the long run. But then the deal fell through, and he still hasn't paid the credit card bill. I exhaled slowly, the truth sinking in. So he lied to both of us. I'm so sorry, she said quietly. I shouldn't even be telling you this, but I'm just done covering for him. He keeps blaming everyone else for his choices, and now he's mad at you for holding him accountable. I didn't know what to say. For years, I'd thought Lana was blind to it all. But she wasn't blind. She was tired. Thank you for telling me, I said softly. You don't owe me an apology. I just hope you're okay. She gave a bitter little laugh. I'm fine. Just making plans. Quiet ones. When we hung up, I sat in silence for a while, staring at my phone. Ryan wasn't just careless with money. He was careless with people. He used everyone around him until they either snapped or stopped showing up. I'd been both. But I was done being his bailout plan. A week later, our cousin's engagement party rolled around. I almost didn't go. I knew Ryan would be there. And honestly, I didn't want to deal with another round of tension or awkward silences. But Mom asked me to come. Just for an hour, she said. It would mean a lot. So I did. And of course, the moment I walked in, Ryan was there, drink in hand, laughing a little too loudly, pretending everything was fine. When he saw me, his smile faltered, but only for a second. Jess, he said, his tone flat. Didn't think you'd show. Neither did I replied. For the next hour, we danced around each other like two magnets flipped the wrong way. The air was thick with unspoken things. But then, during dinner, he finally snapped. Hey, Jess, he said suddenly, loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. How's your hacking career going? I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. A few relatives looked up, confused. Aunt Ruth frowned. Hacking? Ryan smirked. Oh, she didn't tell you? She stole money from me. Just took it right out of my account. All eyes turned to me. I could have defended myself. I could have argued, shouted, explained. But instead I set my fork down, smiled, and said, You're right. I took what was mine. Then I leaned back in my chair and added, You can't steal what's already been paid for. A few cousins laughed quietly. Aunt Ruth muttered something like, Good for her. Ryan's smirk twitched. You really think you're better than everyone, don't you? He said. No, I said calmly. Just tired of pretending we're equals. The table went silent. Even his wife didn't defend him this time. After a long, awkward pause, Ryan stood up and stormed off, muttering something about ungrateful family. Mom looked at me across the table and just shook her head, not in disappointment, but in disbelief. You didn't even raise your voice, she said later as we walked to our cars. I didn't need to, I replied. He did that all on his own. 2 days later, Lana texted me again. Lana, you might want to check your email. Attached was a forwarded message from Ryan's office. A polite but firm HR notice. He'd been suspended for a breach of internal conduct. Apparently, the client gift he bought, the same watch he'd bragged about, had been charged to a company card under false pretense. Someone at work caught it. The irony wasn't lost on me. For years, he'd treated my help like an entitlement. Money, favors, sympathy, forgiveness, like it was all just there for him to use. And now, for the first time, he couldn't charm or bluff his way out. That night, I got one more call from Mom. Your brother wants to apologize, she said softly. I didn't answer right away. You don't have to talk to him, she continued. But he's having a hard time right now. I sighed. He's been having a hard time for years, Mom. Some of it he created himself. I know, she said, almost whispering. But he's still my son, and you're still my daughter. I just don't want this to destroy what's left of our family. I understood what she meant. I always did, but for once I didn't cave. Mom, I said gently. Maybe it's time someone in this family learned what consequences feel like. You raised us to take responsibility. It's not my job to protect him from that." She didn't argue. She just sighed, a long, weary sigh that sounded like acceptance. "You're right," she said finally. "I just wish it didn't have to be like this." "Me too," I said quietly. "But maybe this is the only way it gets better." That night, as I closed my laptop, a notification popped up. A new email. It was from Ryan. Just 2 words. "I'm sorry." No explanation, no excuses. Just that, I didn't reply. Not yet. Because sorry is easy to say. Change. That's the real apology. And I had one last lesson to teach him. I didn't answer Ryan's email. Not that night, not the next day. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. Done playing the responsible one. Done fixing the messes he made. Done letting family be an excuse for emotional blackmail. Still, something about that 2-word message, "I'm sorry," kept echoing in my head. Not because I believed it, but because it was the first time he'd said it without asking for something in return. For the next few weeks, things were quiet. Peaceful, even. My son's birthday came around, and for once, there were no chaotic calls about money or who was bringing what. Just laughter, cake, and normalcy. The kind of calm you don't realize you've been missing until you have it. Then one morning, Lana called again. "He's at moving out," she said softly. "Out?" He got evicted. Lost the job. He's been couch surfing. But I told him he couldn't come here. "I can't do it anymore, Jess." Her voice was trembling, but steady underneath. The sound of someone finally reclaiming their own life. "I told him," she continued, "if he wants forgiveness, he needs to start by repaying what he owes. Not just to you, but to himself." I felt a rush of pride for her, not pity. Lana had been stuck in the same orbit I once was, held there by guilt, loyalty, and history. But now she was free. "Good for you," I said. "That's the first real step." "He's mad, of course," she said with a tired laugh. "But I think deep down, he knows he did this to himself." That weekend, I visited Mom. She made coffee like always, pretending not to know that I knew she'd invited Ryan to stop by. "He just wants to talk," she said quietly. I nodded, then let him. When he walked in, I almost didn't recognize him. He looked smaller somehow, not physically but in presence. His shoulders were slouched, his confidence gone. "Hey," he said. "Hey." We stood there in silence for a long time. Finally, he sank into the chair across from me. "I messed up," he said. "I know that's probably not enough for you, but it's true. I lied, I took advantage, I treated you like an ATM instead of my sister." I didn't interrupt. I just listened. "When you froze my accounts," he continued, "I was furious. I thought you were cruel. But now I get it. You weren't trying to punish me. You were trying to stop me from sinking deeper." I raised an eyebrow. "And how's that going?" He chuckled weakly. "Not great, but I'm learning." "You still have the watch?" I asked. He shook his head. "Pawned it last week. Paid off part of my rent." "Good," I said simply. "Maybe start pawning the ego next." He cracked a faint smile. "Working on it." We talked for nearly an hour. Not as enemies, not even as siblings with old wounds, just 2 people finally telling the truth. He told me he'd started therapy through a work assistance program before losing his job, that he was embarrassed but trying to keep going, that he missed his nephew, my son, and hoped one day he could make it right. I didn't make any promises. "You don't get instant forgiveness," I said, "but you do get the chance to earn it." "That's fair," he replied. When I left Mom's house that day, I didn't feel angry or vindicated. I felt light. Because closure doesn't always come wrapped in revenge or applause. Sometimes it's just the quiet satisfaction of knowing you finally stopped bleeding for someone who never noticed the wound. A few months later, I was sitting on the porch when my son ran up holding a small box. "This came for you," he said excitedly. It was from Ryan. No note, no explanation. Just a small envelope and a bank slip inside, a transfer of $500 to my account. I smiled. Not because of the money, but because he remembered the number. At the bottom of the slip, scrawled in messy pen, were 4 words. "For what I owe." I didn't cry. I didn't text him back. I just sat there for a long time, staring at the sunlight hitting that tiny piece of paper, thinking about all the years I'd tried to fix what wasn't mine to fix. He was finally fixing it himself. That night, I logged into the family Netflix account. Yes, the one I'd locked down months ago, and saw a new profile pop up. The name read simply, "Thank you." I laughed out loud. Tyler walked into the room, curious. "What's so funny? Just family finally learning their passwords," I said, smiling. A few days later, I transferred the $500 he'd sent into a new account. Not for me, but for my son. I labeled it the Respect Fund, because that's what the whole thing was about from the beginning. Not revenge, not payback, but teaching the people around me the value of respect. That it's earned, not borrowed. And maybe, just maybe, Ryan finally learned that lesson too. 2 months later, we all met again. A family barbecue at Mom's house. Simple, quiet, no drama. Ryan was there, grilling burgers, looking more like himself again. Lana came too, smiling for the first time in years. When my son ran up to Ryan, he knelt down and said, "Hey, champ, I got something for you." He handed him a small toy car, bright red, the same one my son had wanted last Christmas. "It's not much," Ryan said to me, "but I wanted to start small." I smiled. Small is good. It's how trust grows. And for the first time in a long time, I believed him. That night, as we packed up to leave, Mom hugged me a little tighter than usual. "You did good," she whispered. "Not just by standing your ground, by showing him what it means to grow up." I smiled. Guess we both did. When I got home, I poured a glass of wine, sat by the window, and thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the silence, the reckoning, and finally, the peace. The lesson was simple. Some debts can't be paid with money, but sometimes they're repaid in change. And that finally was enough.